Football is a great American pastime, and a lasting tradition that's over a century old, but it's also an incredibly dangerous sport. Year after year, numerous football-related injuries occur, including ligament tears, broken bones, and most prominently, concussions. In 2017 alone, 281 concussions were diagnosed in the NFL, a 13.5% increase from 2016. It's clear that football is a dangerous sport full of dangerous plays, but one play in particular is more dangerous than the rest: the kickoff. The kickoff is the most dangerous play simply because of how it is set up. On every other play, all players line up at the line of scrimmage, but on the kickoff, the kicking and receiving teams are on opposite ends of the field. And when the kicker kicks the ball off, the kicking team rushes down the field at full speed with intent to collide with the receiving team's blockers. As such, kickoffs are responsible for more concussions than any other type of play. According to recent data, 1 in every 150 kickoffs is responsible for a concussion, while every other play is only about 1 in every 240. Of the 243 concussions in the NFL in 2016, 17 came on kickoffs, about 7% overall. For a play that only occurs at the start of each half and after every touchdown, kickoffs cause a staggering amount of damage. With rising awareness about football injuries in recent years, the NFL has taken action to try to make the kickoff safer. Such changes have included moving the kickoff from the 30-yard line up to the 35-yard line, and having touchbacks start the next drive at the 25 instead of the 20. These rules were used to incentivize touchbacks and lower kickoff injuries, but only the former was accomplished. Over the past 2 years, touchback rates have increased, but concussion and other injury rates have largely remained the same. The issue here is that touchbacks aren't much safer than returns. By the time the ball has landed in the returner's hands, the kicking team has already made contact with the blockers and the danger for concussions has begun. So, kickoffs are dangerous, and efforts to make them less so have been fruitless. What do we do? There's one obvious answer: remove the kickoff. I'm personally in favor of this idea, and it seems like the NFL could be too. In March 2018, Green Bay Packers president and NFL competition committee member Mark Murphy acknowledged how kickoffs are dangerous and how the league is considering their removal if they don't become safer. "If you don't make changes to make it safer, we're going to do away with it. It's that serious," said Murphy. "It's by far the most dangerous play in the game." Removing the kickoff would lessen the number of injuries, but it's not without its downsides. The kickoff has been a football tradition for ages, and one that many fans would be sad to see disappear from football. The excitement that comes from a kickoff return touchdown is also hard to match. And finally, the removal of the kickoff would also entail the removal of the onside kick, a crucial play that ensures that the losing team still has a fighting chance in the final minutes. I knew this would be a polarizing issue to discuss among football fans, so I took to the college football and NFL subreddits in order to gain some public insight on the idea of removing kickoffs. Sure enough, the results were split. I received 233 responses, and results varied from being totally in favor of removing them to totally being in favor of keeping them, and everything in between. It certainly seems as if it's not an issue that will resolve itself among fans anytime soon. For those against its removal, there were 2 key points that were repeatedly mentioned. One is that kickoff return touchdowns are one of the most exciting aspects of the game. While this can be true, kickoff return touchdowns are incredibly rare. SB Nation points out how in 2015, a mere 0.28% of all kickoffs were returned for a touchdown. So yes, they may be exciting, but when concussions are more common on kickoffs than touchdowns, we realize that it may not be worth it. The other argument I read multiple times is that the players already know that they're playing a dangerous sport, and it's a risk they're willing to take. But this expands beyond the NFL. In 2015, 7 high school football players died due to football-related injuries, and 3 of these injuries occurred on kickoffs, including Ben Ham pictured here. Player safety at all ages should be a primary concern in football, and by removing something as inessential as the kickoff, we can address this problem. Supporters of the kickoff may argue with me that the kickoff is not inessential, especially with the presence of the onside kick, but I disagree. In the developing world of sports, football minds have come up with safer alternatives to the kickoff, including one that I'm quite fond of, the Schiano proposal. Greg Schiano, a former NFL and college football head coach, witnessed a devastating kickoff injury himself when he saw one of his players, Eric LeGrand, become permanently paralyzed after being injured on a kickoff. Schiano took action and developed a possible, safer alternative. Instead of kicking the ball off after a touchdown, the team that just scored stays on the field at their own 30-yard line, faced with a 4th and 15. The scoring team has two options. A, they can punt the ball away. Data has shown that punts are far less likely to cause concussions than kickoffs due to the fact that all players start at the line of scrimmage instead of opposite sides of the field. Or B, they can go for it and try to get the necessary 15 yards to keep the offense on the field, risking the chance of a turnover on downs. This proposal effectively replaces both the kickoff and the onside kick in a less dangerous and just as exciting manner. I'm not the only one in favor of this idea, as numerous Reddit users showed their support for it as well. Neither the NCAA nor the NFL have adapted or even tested this proposal, but in my opinion, it's an idea that cannot be ignored. With the potential to eliminate so many of the injuries that occur every year, I think it's definitely worth a shot. The NCAA did recently establish new rules further incentivizing touchbacks and fair catches inside the 25-yard line, and we'll have to wait and see how this affects the number of injuries. But for a more direct approach at the problem, I say go for the Schiano plan. Even if not everyone agrees on how to address the problem of the kickoff, or even if it's worth addressing at all, it should be our duty as fans of football to be aware of the injuries that they cause and the possible ways we can make football a safer experience. As such, I strongly encourage you to share this video with your friends and family, so we're all a bit more aware about one of the biggest problems in football today. If you want to learn more about this issue, I strongly recommend you check out SB Nation's John Boyce and his video about kickoffs. He's made plenty of great videos in the past as well, analyzing sports and statistics, and he made a great video about the kickoff as well. Plus, he was a huge inspiration for me in making this project, so definitely go check out his work. Thank you for watching.